As a protecting fine leg and third man, saying to the Botswana batters, come on, take us on. But so far, that's not been the case. There's questions being asked here. I'm not quite sure why, as the ball was potentially rolling back onto the stumps of the Botswana batter there. She just knocked it away with her bat, asking the question, but I think the umpires are pretty happy that there's no decision to be made there. Close though. Good alertness from the Botswana opener.
Ribeiro continues her over. You can tell from the speed of her run up. She has quite a pace, which has made Olebogeng struggle to see. This is a good comeback from Ribeiro, especially after quite an expensive over for the Brazilian teams. That's the end. That's the end of the third over. And Botswana have 12 for the loss of 1. The game is still on. And Nicole will continue with her second over from the pavilion end, looking to create more pressure by the dot balls we've seen. And perhaps the batters will try and create something to get runs off her. A misfield there that costs Brazilian team a 4 runs there. Oliver, as you were saying earlier on, you know, fielding is really key in a cricket game, because as you saw there, it wasn't a bad delivery, really bad delivery from Nicole there, but because of the little mistakes from the fielders, it costed Brazil all 4 runs there, which would have otherwise been a run, just a single one.
Yeah, and it's frustrating to see, obviously, from a Brazil perspective after such a good start, but I think they'll be pleased with the effort shown in the field as the Botswana batter goes over the covers there to that exposed offside boundary. 4 runs are brought up there for Oleboeng. That's a lovely shot. It's just what they need after that previous boundary to build on that. The momentum is with Botswana now. It's a nice shot, looked controlled in the air, but not in any danger, and it runs away for 4. Bowlers under pressure here for Brazil. Nicole, what will she reply with? Full toss there, and it's squeezed through the covers again. It runs away to the boundary. The chase is on. That's some good fielding there. Just knocking it back into play, restricting the Botswana batters to 2, but good intent, still on the front foot here after a relatively slow 3 overs. But a good chase from the Brazil fielder, Akhada, to stop the 4 runs. And now Brazil have adjusted. They've put a deep extra cover out on the boundary after those previous 2 attacking shots there. Asking the question of Botswana, what else have you got? Because you're not going to be doing that again. And that's the end of the 4th over there. An expensive one for Brazil. And it evens up the power play here.
भारती जी, फैंटेसी अखाड़ा में विदेश जाने का भी चांस है।
अब सुनो, हम आपको जाने देंगे। इतना सिखा दीजिए कि हम
फौरन कैसे जाएंगे?
स्पोर्ट्स का
असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
Do you think if what score does, judging from the game from yesterday against Germany, what score does Botswana team have to set to comfortably defend if they are to try and register their first win today?
Looking at the projected score, I wouldn't say it's a good start for Botswana, but a good start for Brazil instead. It's still before the end of the power play. They already have a wicket in hand, and the rate at which the batting side is going at, it's 5.5 within the power play. So I'm wondering how they will cruise. But the comfortable score, especially on these grounds of ours at Gahanga, you need definitely above 100. That's another wicket down. Like I've been saying, it's a good start for Brazil, as Botswana are losing wickets back to back. That is Batisani, who departs. She was run out attempting to get a single, and when she returned it was too late. And Brazilians, their eyes on the ball, they had to get that one.
Looking very disappointed, Batisani walks off. You know, as a batter, it is usually very hurtful to get off a run-out dismissal. Very good bowling there. And the new batter in is Tapelo Modise. Don't be deceived by the fall of wicket. The incoming has proven to be more dangerous, even more dangerous. She was the player of the match yesterday against Nigeria at IPRC ground. Samila seems to be struggling to get her position and her comfortable spot. I guess it's because she has not been facing so much ball, so it's creating a little bit of more pressure, especially that she's one of the players who anchors the Botswanan team because of her fierce batting. She has not found her length yet, her line yet. But as well, with the ball, it's not an easy one. It is the Brazilian own Renata, who was the player of the match yesterday against the German team. Very good bowler there, very economical bowler, and also a very good contributor with the bat. She is a decorated cricketer. Let's see if Shamila would be able to hack
a good piece of bowling from Renata. She used to open the bowling the previous games, but today the captain seemed to have a different strategy against Botswana. And that previous wicket, they ran out. It was a direct hit, which I think Botswana are going to feel as the innings goes on. It wasn't really necessary. That run wasn't there. And there was some poor communication from the batters. But let's see. Here we're going to end the Lindsay Villas. She's going to bowl the 6th over. That brings us to the end of the power play. And the score didn't change much. Still 22 for 2.
quite interesting to know that, unlike yesterday, today Brazilian team won the toss and opted to field. And opted to field first. Yesterday against the German, they opted to bat and they won the game. That's an interesting one there. Probably an in-house analysis, especially against the Botswanan team, analyzing where the strengths and the weaknesses are, that they opted to go for bowling first. A very good ended over by De Souza. Renata, a maiden over.
Yeah, true. Let's see. Those are different strategies. If you win the toss and you try to bat, and then following there you win the toss and you choose to bowl. Like the captain said, she's very confident, and they are trying to see which at which side are they stronger. Yesterday they set and they defended. So let's see today if they are going to be able to chase the score on board. Definitely, we are here to see, and cricket will be the winner at the end of the day.
And there we see from Villas Boas a wide ball that was all too common yesterday for Team Brazil as they came up against Germany, a German team that batted second and really didn't look to be in the game at all, but extras were costing Brazil. In the end, they did not live to regret it, but they'll certainly hope, especially bowling first with Botswana setting the total, that they will not give the helping hand that they gave the Germans yesterday, as Botswana nudge a single there just to keep the score ticking. In the last 10 balls, just the 2 runs conceded plus the wide with a wicket as well. It's definitely Brazil who are on top at the moment, bowling very straight, very full, and really not giving the Botswana batters much to work with. And I think, would you agree, that especially early in this game, that's exactly what the Brazil bowlers need to do?
Yeah, I would say that's a good piece of backing up from the fielders. Yeah, I believe they're having a good start as the bowlers are on top. It looks to be a low-scoring game. As you look at the projected score, it's 89 runs. That if they maintain the same pace. And she plays it, she drives it, but straight back to the bowler, and they couldn't make a single. That's how the silver ends her over. And end of the power play from Lindsay, she ends it. On the score, didn't move much. It's 26 runs for 2 in the first 6 overs. So previously they could only get 4 runs in the over, and that is very low in the power play, if I'm to say. And the power play usually determines how high you can go. And if you look at the loss of wickets and the batters number 2 and number 4, they haven't connected, they haven't settled in yet. So anything can happen depending on how Brazilians bowl.
Yeah, I think here as Renata continues to bowl, her previous over a wicket maiden and conceding 1 run. Her first run of her bowling spell conceded on the first ball, but I think for Botswana the current run rate, the projected score will definitely be on their minds, but as Shamila and Tapelo have been in phase 13 and 3 balls respectively. No boundaries or maximums for either of them, but from their perspective, they've got through the power play, they've protected their wicket, they've earned their place at the crease in this 7th over. So as the field perhaps gets slightly more defensive, a few more fielders out, few more gaps in the infield, I think keeping that score ticking, trying to get some singles, just up their strike rate a little bit without panicking too much in these early stages will be just what they want. Although Brazil with the field set deep mid-off, a woman deep at cow corner, but not much else as Shamila goes big over mid-on, over the top for 4 runs. And as I was saying, what they'll want to do is keep the singles flowing. They said no, we prefer boundaries, and she goes big, goes for 4. And that is exactly what we want to see. A lovely shot, nice and controlled there. And Renata concedes her first boundary of her bowling spell. Off of not a bad ball, it must be said.
Yeah, that was a good piece of batting. And they should be careful with Shamila. Once she settles in, it will not be good news for Brazil. And you can see Renata is not happy about the previous boundary. I'm wondering what's going to be her next. For that to being hit over the top, and the ball seems to be lost. And they are getting a second ball in play.
Totally accurate, Romeo. I think if Renata were to be calculative, would try and get Shamila before she settles in, because she's one strong batter. She has always been a good batter, very consistent one. And once she settles in and pushes her time there, that is how comfortable she becomes. The more comfortable she becomes. And now, here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium, I can see the third umpire walking into the field, because apparently the banana plantation ants have started to swallow Botswanan balls. And it's courtesy of Shamila. Is it the time to say that Shamila has started? Or is it too early to say that Shamila started to reign here at Gahanga Cricket? Very great technique from her. Very controlled shot. She is a very strong and a very talented batter who's very capable. And interesting enough, her strength is usually in all directions. She will sweep. She will drive anything, cut anything. So she is, and she will pull you to the boundaries. So at the moment, for the Brazilian team, this is the person to look out for and break this partnership before it gets a little bit more comfortable, as it seems they have started already.
That's some wrist work from Shamila. She plays it down the fine leg. The square leg was very close to the ball, but they still managed to get a single. So let's see what Renata can do with the right hand batter. If you look at the field setting, you have deep extra cover, long on, long off, and cow corner as well. That's the fear for Tapelo. Oh, that's appeal. That's an appeal, but as the ball hit the pad, but it was missing leg, off the leg.
Yeah, looked to just be sliding down the left side there, but good signs for Brazil. Missing the bat there. Coming round the wicket to the right-hander, which is interesting, but... Oh, and it's been, I think put down by the bowler, although it was a good stop, saving her team at least one run there. Brave cricket after the ball was hit back hard to her. And that's her second over finished. 6 runs conceded after her previous over going for just a maiden.
कितने पैसे चाहिए?
पैसा नहीं इज्जत। मोहल्ले के चिरकुट लौंडे हरा रहे हैं मैं फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स में। आप एक्सपर्ट हो, सिखाओ।
सिखाऊंगा तो जाने दोगे?
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का
असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
Deep fielder Akhada at cow corner. Deep mid on, deep mid off, deep extra cover. The boundary certainly looked to be, if anything, available behind square. So we'll be expecting some nice full bowling here from Villas Boas. Otherwise, punishment could be handed. And that's very full toss.
That was close. It was I don't know. I doubt if that run was necessary. Shamila played and she follows through. And it's her call. And Thapero responded. And they managed to get a quick single. And it is Lindsay coming from the pavilion end. Bowling to the right hander. Thapero Modise. She puts the bat there, but she doesn't connect.
I like the intent though. Just trying to use that pace, seeing that the exposed area behind square, looking clearly for the boundary. She can drive it straight and only get a single, but like that, opening the face on this occasion with some sharp fielding. Well, commentator's curse come into action nicely as an overthrow cost 1. What looked like to be some sharp fielding as the little dab down to short third man straight to the fielder. But again, thinking 360 cricket, looking for the gaps and really trying to force these boundaries here as the Botswana batters at the crease trying to up the run rate as it seems like they need to do. Projected score at the current run rate just 91, which I think Brazil, safe to say, will be perfectly happy with chasing. Again though, another misfield. Quite unnecessary from the Brazilian fielders there, throwing to the bowler's end, really relieving some pressure there. Again, you talk about extras, just giving the batters free runs, and it's happened a few times this over.
Yeah, it's quite not a good sign from the Brazilians, as we all know cricket. That's a good pull. That's a good pull down the deep mid wicket, and the chase is on, and she saves the ball. She saves the ball, but they managed to get their 2 quick singles, and those free runs that they are giving, you know, if you go in cricket, you can easily lose by 1 or win by 1. So that might be the misfields and the overthrows that can easily contribute to that, towards the loss or the win of any of the two.
Renata de Sousa there out in the deep with some nifty footwork to prevent the 4 as the throw comes in to the bowler's end, just telling the non-striker Shamila, don't go anywhere, because we're sharp here in the field. That's the end of the over.
I think
5 conceded from it.
Yeah, by the look of things, Shamila wants to make runs as fast as she can, but that looks like pressure is on already, and she's going to face Renata again. Renata de Souza coming to bowl her 3rd over.
know, football is a natural talent from Brazil. And in such a game, I wouldn't blame Nicole for trying to go for that, because in her shoes I would use everything I have to try and restrict Botswana team to under 100. End of a very brilliant over as well
From Renata.
from Renata. And now
Lindsay coming back.
Botswana has 42 runs for the loss of 2.
That was some good effort of fielding, really, from Monteiro Nicole. It looked like she has saved the boundary, but the umpires thought otherwise. Here comes a new bowler, Lola da Silva. From the pavilion end, and Shamila tries to hit it, but it was a slow ball. And they go for the second run. Yeah, they managed to get it. That's some good calling for the batters. And good backup from the Brazilians.
Yeah. I think the batters are trying to capitalize on the misfields that have happened, and thought there would be another overthrow. But lucky Ribeiro was there to stop that on the field. Shamila seems to have succumbed to an injury, and we're seeing the medics running to the pitch. Hope it's nothing very serious, because Team Botswana needs everything they can, and more especially Shamila's input and Shamila's contribution, if they are to register their first win today. Oliver, as the Botswana are playing at the moment, what do you think would be the game plan? Because I think they did not capitalize as much as they wanted to on the power play. They lost a couple of wickets, which slowed up the game. What do you think would be the better game plan, especially judging from yesterday's game, where we saw the confidence of the Brazilian team with the ball and with the bat as well? How much score do you think they should set before unfortunately it seems like Shamila is quite injured? Assistant. Hopefully everything will be okay. Captain herself coming to do the job. A fierce wicketkeeper and a fierce batter as well. See if the captain will lead from the front, as right now the entire team depends on this and her skills and her leadership as well to register their long-awaited first win.
Yeah, I think it's a shame. I was going to say that despite the slow start from Botswana in the power play, I think what they did really well was to not give their wickets away cheaply. They took their time And they built that partnership, and it's a real shame as that ball's driven back to the bowler, Bittencourt. They built that partnership. They didn't get frustrated with themselves, with the lack of boundaries, and they really dug deep to make sure they were building that partnership, albeit slow, nice and steady, as that one is cut in front of square to deep cover just for the single. So it's a shame that Shamila's had to go off retired hurt, but hopefully the new batter, the captain, will come in and try and continue the good work that batters 2 and 4 were doing, building a steady partnership here, as boundaries do look few and far between. As the same shot is played there, again deep cover, Da Silva coming into action with a short throw there, but not costing any extra runs. Seems to have come from the Botswana camp, as we see again with a beautiful shot there to mid-wicket. Great shot onto the leg side for 4 after a slow first half of the innings. The new batter never had much time to get herself in, and we're definitely seeing a shift in focus from the nice steady batting to a more attack. Incredibly composed take there, and a vital wicket as the Botswana innings finally looked to be getting some momentum. That momentum has been halted by the brilliant work of Renata de Souza out in the deep there. Athleticism in the field being shown perfectly and very appreciated by her teammates as well, rightfully so. You can't fault the intention from the Botswana batter. With the incoming batter for Botswana, Twelo Shadrack. Again, I'm sure with some strict instructions from her camp to continue this forward momentum. She won't have much time to wait around. Because from a Brazil perspective, wickets, dot balls, good fielding, it's all pointing in the direction of a very tidy first innings that they'll be confident they can chase. As a short ball comes in, pulled away, it's in the air, it's in the gap. Power, precision, perfection there from the Botswana batter. Exactly what they needed in response to that wicket just 2 balls earlier. Laura there, the captain, showing great intent, realising there's no time to settle. Again, driving forward to long off, this time with some cover. But it was just getting to a point there. Botswana batters were very comfortable, allowing the Brazil bowlers and field setting to dictate the game. But now it seems they're really trying to take the game to Brazil. They need to manipulate this field if they are in with any chance of upping this projected score, currently at 107, which although is no gimme for Brazil, they'll definitely be confident that their batters will do the job. And it's gone. It's beautiful bowling. Beautiful bowling there from Carolina. Nice and straight, right on the money. Allowing the Botswana batter no chance. Laura is walking off. And it's getting to a point now where I'm sure the Botswana camp will be looking at Shamila, having retired her earlier in the innings, to come back and save them, as their innings looks to be dwindling with these loss of wickets. Brazilian tails are up. They're on the attack now. They'll be looking for more. And that looks to be possibly a no ball there. We'll wait for the umpire's signal. Nonetheless, it's running to the boundary, cut off there. It will be perhaps byes, perhaps a no ball. Or perhaps off the bat or the glove there. No signal from the umpire. Strong hit into the leg side, straight to the fielder. And this is what I mean about manipulating the field. Mary, what do you think the Botswana batters will be thinking now? Because it does seem like this match so far is definitely in Brazil's hands. Something needs to be done.
From the body language and the intention that batters are having, it's like the message is very clear. It's time for run. The overs, the innings seems to be slowly closing up on them. So I think it's time that scoreboard ticking if they're yet to complete. Good intentions from there. A misfield there that allowed the Botswanan team to celebrate one run that was given freely because of quite some misfield from from Nicole. That was pulled away nicely. And it clears the boundary. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like the game is slowly changing. Is more slowly changing. And the intentions are slowly changing. This is looking really good in terms of intentions. But this is exactly what Botswana needs. A little bit high. At least 120, over 120. I'm sure with the Botswanan bowling, they will be able to restrict them.
Yeah, the Botswana batters there showing perhaps they're willing to take some risks, playing right across the line of some very straight and quite full bowling, but it's paid off as Lara Moyes continues.
The mission is clear there. Thing ran. It is do or die. Now or never. For the plan they have is the only way to get, because with a very good field setup and very good bowling that we've seen, interestingly, Brazilian it's in there. Not leaving. Comfortably, it was an easy catch. Down. Incredible bowling from Lara continues to dominate. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Shamila walks back in. She looks quite alright, and her confidence as usual with the bat. Hopefully everything is okay on her end, and probably might be the person to anchor the team to get to over 120 they look to.
Yeah, it's commonly talked about the threat of pace bowling. Here we're seeing the complete other end of this spectrum here. So much air to the ball, such a lack of pace. It's in the air, it will land safe. And the Botswana batters will need to come up with something here, because it's causing trouble here. The lack of pace. It's working for Brazil. Laura Moyes now coming through the wicket, playing a miss there. Good areas here from the Brazilian off-spinner, restricting this run rate, much to the delight of the Brazilian camp. Good footwork there. It's in the air though. It's been dropped by Akhada. A deep mid-wicket there. It was a tough chance. It was a tough chance there, but you've got to say that you'd expect it to be taken. Now a change in field straight after that. Akhada being banished to long on. A nice powerful hit there. Renata now being moved to deep mid-wicket. expecting a bit more of the action there. Lindsay Villas-Boas being brought back into the attack from the banana plantation end. Changing end here for the Brazilian pacer. Perhaps some strategy behind that, as we see these Botswana batters just scanning the field, looking for the gaps desperately. Where are the runs in this Brazilian field setting? Because they'll need to find it if they want to stand a chance. That's good bowling there. Good fielding, sorry, off the same bowler, restricting Botswana to just a single. The left-hand, right-hand combination for Botswana could prove in their favour potentially if they can keep the strike flowing. It's in the air, it's struck into the offside. There's a fielder coming in. It's a nice powerful throw into the bowler's end there, restricting Botswana to 2. Nice shot, just giving herself some space. But good fielding nonetheless.
And as we continued to mention, these extras are kind of building up, especially from the Brazilian team. And I think at this point, it's not time for direct hit. That is a direct hit that sees Tandiwe walk off disappointed. Despite all the intent, there's also a need of being careful, because the Brazilian team, they're also switched on, looking to restrict that. Roberta captaining from the front with a direct hit to the stumps, showing total class, total experience. Great cricket happening here. It is 95 for 6 in 16.2 overs. And the incoming batter is Oratile Geresi. 95 for 6 in 16.2 overs. Nice shot. Another chance there. Quick running. Good running from Shamila. That was a great cut shot. Strong one and good fielding from Ribeiro. Obviously, Ribeiro has been consistent on the field and with the ball as well. And later on we shall see with the bat. Lindsay Boas coming from the banana plantation end. She has been the most confusing bowler to play for Team Botswana. Probably maybe because of her action, but she's a really good bowler. Very good length and line. She's kept it very consistent with a very interesting bowling action that has restricted and caused pressure to the Botswanan bowlers. End of the 17th over. And the score is 98 for 7.
ये फटका अब सीख तो गए, अब तो जाने दो मुझे।
ठहर जाइए, कोई प्रॉब्लम वॉब्लम हो गई तो कहाँ ढूंढेंगे आपको?
फैंटेसी अखाड़ा का 24/7 कस्टमर सर्विस है, आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करवा देंगे।
कल जाने देंगे।
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
Good comeback for Botswana. If you look at how they started the first 10 overs, the projected score was still under 90, and now it has moved up to almost 116, which would be a comfortable score to defend probably. Oh, that's a loud appeal, but it was on the leg side and hit the front pad, so it was most likely missing leg.
Ribeiro continues to come through for Team Brazil. She's an all-round talented player.
In her run-up,
Mr. Run-up there. She's well known for sprinting through a run-up. And the quicker she comes, the quicker she delivers.
and she's driven straight. Shamira drives her straight back to bowler, and she couldn't hold it. But long off and long on, they were all chasing the ball. They managed to give them one single only.
Great weather here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium. If you're just joining us, we're coming to you live from Gahanga Cricket Stadium in Kigali, Rwanda, where Botswana is taking on the Brazilian team and the 4th day of Kwibuka Women's T20 Tournament, the 8th edition that has hosted 8 countries. A no ball that goes 5 no balls there. That is a very expensive one. Probably some help from the keeper would have saved that. And a free hit. That was an expensive one. Really expensive. That sees the Botswanan team back themselves 100 up runs. Small mistakes like this are the ones that sometimes would cost you a lot of problems. And that one pulled strongly. Looks like it will get to the rope, but no. Great fielding over there. And they could only afford 2 runs over there.
Botswana batters there, continuing to play across the line. Risky stuff, but it's working for them so far. But with fielders scattered almost all around in the deep. There's a big shout there, umpire not interested. But still a nice dot ball for Brazil, despite the disappointing shake of the head. But as long as Ribeiro continues to bowl at these stumps, she's in with a chance. Direct hit there, good fielding from Lindsay yet again. But Shamila safely in the crease as we finish the 18th over there. It's 108 for 7, projected score currently at 120, which seems about par. Would you agree?
Yeah, and if you look at the intent of the batters, Shamila, she's settling in, and definitely the last 12 deliveries, she's counting the balls and makes sure she faces the next delivery, as she can make use of the bat compared to the non-striker.
Nicole back into the attack from the banana plantation end. It goes straight. It's a nice shot, but easily cut off there by the fielder. Deep at, long off. And it seems like as long as those fielders are positioned out there in the deep, there's no boundaries to be had going straight over the bowler's head. 360 cricket is very much needed, it seems, in these last couple of overs to try and push this score up, get some boundaries now. But Botswana continued to be relatively cautious.
It's interesting. It's interesting how Captain Roberta is using her bowlers. Usually, Nicole would finish her spell from the pavilion end, but now it looks like she has changed the end. She's coming from banana plantation end, and it looks to be a strategy by the captain, as it's not happening for the first time. Same thing happened to Lindsay, and now it's Nicole. So I like the strategy. Seems to be working.
That's a nice shot there. Deep mid-wicket, running around, cutting that off, but they'll come back for 2. Of course, we love to promote good cricket here, good cricket shots, but you must say, looking at that cow corner and how open it is, an old-fashioned slog could be calling for them. It's one short called by the umpire there, which will definitely disappoint the Botswanan batters. They can't afford to lose out on many runs, but ball's in the air, and it's been taken well. It was chipped up to Ribeiro. Relatively comfortable catch, still requiring a dive. And that is the end there for Oratil. Just a slight top edge there, being chipped up. But at this stage in the game, I think shots like that are needed. New batter now coming in to try and do some damage of the last 7 balls of this innings. Tobogo. Seems the batter's crossed there, so Shamila on strike now to try and cause some havoc at the end of this Botswana batting innings as they approach 120. But they'll definitely have their sights set on perhaps a few more runs if they can find the boundaries, which have been relatively few and far between this innings. And that's bowled. Middle stump. Shamila is not happy with herself, but you must say that's very good bowling. Full and straight, which laid on is exactly what you want. Keeping it simple. And that is the end for Shamila. Got off to a tidy start. Had to go off. Retired herd and has come back on to make 22 off of 33 balls. But Ribera gets the wicket hitting middle and leg, bowling between bat and pad as Shamila looks to work it onto the leg side. Two new batters at the crease, and as a bowling side, that's just what you want to see. Although the mindset of the Botswana batters will be pretty simple, it seems. Swing hard, look for the gaps, and try and cause some damage.
Ribeiro continues to do it for Team Brazil here. Gets a very crucial wicket of Shamila, who was starting to get back to play. And now the incoming, the new batter in, and he's out now. Is Zonel Ketsemang. She's gone. Oh my.
And that's the end there for the Botswana innings. Nice and full, looked pretty straight. The umpire viewing that to have gone on to take the leg stump out, and that is the end of the Botswana innings. 113 scored, just shy of that 120 mark that we talked about. Defendable. And it will definitely be an interesting second half of this match here, as Brazil will be pretty happy, it seems. Not dissimilar from the score that they were defending yesterday against the German team, successfully defending, which will give Botswana some hope that it's clearly a score that can be defended, but it will require some good fielding, some good bowling. Looks to be set up very well here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium. 113 all out for Botswana.
I agree there. It might be quite early to say, but the Botswanan team also have a very strong bowling side. So it's going to be a very interesting second half. And at IPRC Kichukiro, the game Nigeria against Uganda, the first innings are down 43 for all out. Nigerian women are cleaned in 16.4 overs, and yet to bat is the Ugandan team. That looks like quite a very low score, especially for the Ugandan team, having people like Kevin and Rita on board. It's a score they can chase very quickly. We'll get back shortly for the second half here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium. Don't go away. The second half is going to be interesting. It's hard to tell. The score is quite defendable, and as well as quite chaseable score. So it's an interesting game here. We'll be back shortly with the second inning.
of the first over, a maiden over, just what Botswana will have wanted. You can see the energy buzzing around the field as they position for this second over. The Brazil openers come together, talking tactics. What do you think they'll be saying to each other, Rom? Do you think they'll be happy to just take their time early on and get their eye in, or will they be already looking at that run rate and thinking, where are they going to start scoring?
It's their first time to face Botswana, so they are, I think, they are trying to settle in as they read the bowlers before they start opening up. They believe they look comfortable with the score, and they are trying to settle in. Oh. They are trying to settle in and see as the bowler from the banana plantation end is Tandiwe, the Gabile. And they have Evelyn D'Souza on strike. And she blocks it. There is no intent of running really in between wickets. I'm not sure if they have agreed everyone to play her end. What do you think?
I think Brazil definitely are showing some clear signs that they are more than happy to just take their time early on here, just to get their eye in, see what the ball is doing here on this lovely looking wicket at Gahango Cricket Stadium. Some extras offering the only run so far for Team Brazil as they continue to just take their time. Nice, solid looking forward defensive here from Evelyn D'Souza. Again, down the leg side, it's a wide ball, and it's a run, albeit not going to the batter there. The first bit of running between the wickets for the Brazilian openers. Botswana will definitely be hoping that Tandiwe can just tighten up her line there. There's protection out deep on the leg side. Deep fine leg also protecting, so there's cover for the straight ball, but need to be sure not to push it down the leg side too much, because with the Brazilian openers taking their time, playing nice and defensive, you don't want to be giving them any extra runs.
Looks like a wide to me. Yeah. Those are two wides, as the Brazilians are taking advantage of the misfields and the poor bowling. Interesting how the required rate is almost 1 run and over. That is for the game that is down at IPRC grounds, where Uganda is chasing only 44 runs in the over, and they need 13 runs to win in the last 14 overs, which is clearly a single per over.
Throw comes in from the fielder at third man for Botswana. Good run from Brazil, and you can hear the tambourine making some noise, making some atmosphere for the Brazil camp as they look to chase this total down. Oh, nice and straight. Appeal goes up and it's given. The umpire's finger is raised. And Evelyn D'Souza, the Brazilian opener, is sent on her way. It's a wicket for Botswana. Dream start. And sending in Lindsay to try and rebuild here after the loss of that first wicket. LBW there, leading to the raised finger of the umpire. And incidentally, that was the end of the third over. Correction, the second over. Lindsay now at the non-striker's end to just see what this wicket's doing. And a big swing there. It's ran down to third man. Deep fine legs come round to cut it off there. And there's confusion between the wickets as well. It's not been punished, but it's definitely signs early on of miscommunication. Interesting as well, straight away after losing her opening partner. There's no hanging around there. Big swing, outside edge, landing safe. And now Lindsay Villas-Boas is facing her first ball here. Be interesting to see whether she takes the same approach as the openers, just getting her eye in. Nice straight bat there, swatting away the full toss to mid-off, sorry. Plenty of noise coming from the Botswana fielders, as they'll be more than happy with this start. That first wicket coming at the expense of Daniela. Evelyn de Souza still at the crease with her partner Lindsay Villas-Boas, who is continuing to watch these balls like a hawk, playing with a straight bat, only to find these fielders of Botswana who have peppered the offside here, allowing little space. And it's in the air, it's landed short, but an outside edge there. The outside edge of Lindsay, showing perhaps a few nerves here early on for Brazil.
Lindsay Mariano not off mark yet. That gets us to the end of the third over. And the score hasn't changed much. It's only 8 runs for 1. Yeah, and the required run rate is 6 runs, 6.2. So literally they can easily do singles in between, and they are safe to win this game comfortably. But as a bowling side, if I was the captain, I would bring back the bowlers because they seem to be doing a good job. I would let them finish their overs. And she brings in a new bowler, Florence Semanyika, from the Banana Plantation end. Let's see what she can do.
Nice start there from Florence. Nice and full, yorking the opener of Brazil, Evelyn de Souza, who will be potentially trying to see if she can capitalise off this new bowler here, putting them under pressure straight away. As of yet, she's carefully watching these deliveries come in, playing with a nice straight bat, nice and defensive, not in a hurry to go anywhere, protecting her precious wicket. Oh, and there's a big shout going up. It doesn't seem like the umpire's interested. It was a big swing, appealing for a caught behind there. The Botswana field look a mixture of baffled, devastated, and also incredibly hopeful from what they're seeing here. Big swing that we haven't seen much of from Evelyn de Souza, trying to get that ball away through the covers, playing a miss.
Yeah, Brazil, they don't have much to do, as if they can play all the overs, all the 20 overs without losing wickets, the runs will really come. They don't need a lot of boundaries, but again the dots are piling up. They are becoming mob in the 4th over, and they don't even have 10 runs on board yet, and it's a power play. So wondering what they will be able to do after the power play if they don't take advantage of these overs.
Evelyn de Souza there showing her frustration, not being able to get that ball away. It's a beautifully bowled maiden there from Florence to open her spell. And you've got to think, looking at that required rate, just creeping up just over a runner ball. And I think that Brazil will know that once the power play ends, potentially seeing a few more fielders dropping onto the boundary. Singles, chance for singles will open up, but if they continue to build up these dot balls, that run rate's not going to be going in their favour, and soon boundaries will be needed. It's Tuelo continuing from the pavilion end here. And again, like we saw so much in that previous over, good line, good length there to Lindsay, who again, straight bat, just plays it back with no intention to score.
And she's off the mark. Lindsay Mariano. She's off the mark now with a clean on drive, where she could get a single. And Evelyn de Souza to face the next ball.
Just punching that one off the back foot there, straight to the fielder at cover. Again, not seeming to put much power on it. The intention doesn't look to be with any great desire to beat these fielders on the inner ring. But it will come to a point where questions will be asked of these Brazilian batters. What do they have in their locker?
I personally think Brazil, they are creating pressure for themselves, and definitely under pressure they will struggle to score if they can't use the power play effectively. And probably they are waiting for Tuelo to finish her spell, as she looks to be the one that is challenging them to score some runs. She's a big hindrance apparently. Yeah, she's bowling her 3rd over, where she managed to get the maiden, and her economy is less than 1.
And that shot's in the air. It's a beautiful shot. Really, really well played. It's the first boundary for the Brazil side, met by great ovation from Brazilian camp. The tambourine is being bashed around, making some noise, making some atmosphere, and rightly so. A lovely shot, very well controlled. And I was just thinking, as we were seeing in these opening few overs here, Akhada Cricket Stadium, these Brazilian batters were just showing signs that they were going either defensive or just swinging big with little to no real control. But there we see that perfect balance of a nice controlled shot, straight bat, textbook stuff. Big shout here from Botswana yet again. And the umpire yet again saying, I don't think so. Good signs here for Botswana though. Causing some problems here is Florence as she runs in from the banana plantation end. Play with a nice straight bat. They've taken the single. And it's turned out to be some good running. It would be interesting to see if that throw had gone into the keeper's end, as Evelyn D'Souza was a little bit slower off the mark. However, they both complete the single safely, rotating the strike, which I think, is it safe to say, we've not been seeing much of here in the opening 5 overs from Brazil. That one down the leg side, though. Good take from the keeper to restrict any more runs to come off of it. And incidentally, in other news, Uganda have successfully chased down the rather insignificant total made by Nigeria women there, chasing the target of 44 in just 8.4 overs at the loss of 1 wicket. Gloria Abukor and Jeanette Mbabazi taking the Ugandan women home safely to win by 9 wickets there. Back to Gahanga here, as we've got more solid defensive batting being shown here by D'Souza. And you do think that as slow as this start has been, I think Brazil will definitely like the idea of one of their openers batting as deep into their innings as possible. With a run chase like this, yesterday we saw a very similar total being taken to the very last over by the Kenyan batters, who showed their strength and depth that really is what took them over the line. And I think it's important that come the late stages of the game, where the runs are crucial, having an opener there will be vital, will be paramount. So you can definitely see the tactics here by Evelyn D'Souza, taking her time. Nonetheless, that run rate creeping up. And that's the end of the first power play. New bowler here, bringing some spin into the game now, is Botswana. Shamila coming on to see what influence she can have. That ball just missing the short cover there, sneaking a single for Lindsay, much to the delight of the Brazilian camp and that tambourine. Nice full bowling, brings the inside edge that Brazil sneak another run from. And we keep asking the question, can Brazil put some pressure on the bowlers of Botswana? Seeing a spin bowler come on, they must be thinking, can we put some pressure on? Can we perhaps take on this spinner? And it's been struck down the ground. A very, very good shot over the top. Great control there from Lindsay to bring up her first boundary. Lovely shot, well controlled. Just what Brazil needed there. Putting Shamila under a bit of pressure, asking the question. And they've reacted straight away and put both mid-off and mid-on out on that boundary. She goes again, Lindsay. Not to the same effect though. Inside edge just to short mid-wicket there. And that's the end of Shamila's over. 6 runs coming off of it.
अब सीख तो गए, अब तो जाने दो मुझे।
ठहर जाइए, कोई प्रॉब्लम वॉब्लम हो गई तो कहाँ ढूंढेंगे आपको?
फैंटेसी अखाड़ा का 24/7 कस्टमर सर्विस है, आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करवा देंगे।
कल जाने देंगे। फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
To just keep that score ticking over as much as they can.
Yeah, it's it looks windy here at Gahanga. Oliver, if you're the one who's batting or the captain for Brazil, what would you say would be the strategy to secure this win, second win for them in Africa?
As I mentioned before, I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, one of your openers playing cautious, really trying to bat deep into the innings. But if both batters are doing it at the crease, then that's where you really see that run rate start to stagnate, the required run rate to rise. And so, whilst I think Evelyn de Souza will be looking to still stay solid, just protect her wicket, try and rotate the run rate as much as possible, it does mean that you must say Lindsay will have to start to take the attack to these bowlers. Having said that, big swing from Evelyn, not timed very well, bringing the dot ball. But yeah, I think they need to look at this run rate and definitely start to build. There's still time left in this game, of course. They need to just keep control of the task in hand. But as they build this partnership, I think they'll be feeling relatively comfortable if they can start to find the gaps a bit more, find a few boundaries.
Shamila coming back from the pavilion end. And Lindsay opens up. She plays over short mid-wicket. It goes down. The fielder chasing it. And that's Tapelo who just collected back the ball. And the Brazilians managed to get 2 quick singles, this is exactly what they need to do in the over. They can easily win by making singles. They don't need boundaries as much. of course, the boundaries will ease their win. But looking at these gaps, this is what they really need to win this game comfortably. But that was in between the extra covers and point.
Yeah, that was good batting by Lindsay there. Just letting the ball come to her. Sorry, picking the gap there, and I think Shamila, as far as the Botswana bowlers have gone, she has been one of the more expensive ones, and there's a misfield there. It's gone for 4. Long on is going to be devastated with that. Letting that ball through to go to the boundary. It's another good shot from Lindsay to bring more runs to her score. And Shamila continues to be relatively expensive, and I think that's just what the Brazil batting order needs. Attack the bowlers, put pressure on, as they've done again. That's a really, really nice shot, very precise through the covers. Long off comes round to collect safely though. There'll be 2 runs, but this is what they need. This is what I was talking about. You don't need to throw away your wicket, but just keep your intent good. Start to really take the attack to these bowlers.
Yeah, that misfield might just cost them, and they might they will really feel bad. You can see easy a run out, poor communication. It wasn't necessary, as they have gotten the required run rate. They had gotten the required, but they just miscommunicate and they run where it wasn't necessary, really.
Yeah, Evelyn there, very, very hesitant to come off the mark, and I think that's because she very much knew that there was no run there. Lindsay, having scored off the previous couple of balls, perhaps feeling in the zone there and wanting to take a run that really, I mean, the shot was straight to the fielder there, and even if Evelyn D'Souza had took off straight away, I think she would have been short. And that brings the end to a pretty steady partnership from D'Souza and Lindsay. Mariana Villas-Boas bringing in a new batter to the crease in Renata.
Yeah, I would say that is a good judgment from the fielder, really, because if she had thrown the ball to her closest, which was the bowler, they wouldn't have gotten a run out. But again, it was I wouldn't blame Lindsay for calling. It was her call, really, but maybe Evelyn ran slow, hesitating of the run, but it was there, really. It was her call, but again, if you look at how safe they need to be, they shouldn't have run. But yeah, and Renata gets off the mark on her first ball. She drives it towards mid-off, and she's off the mark.
Yeah, I think it was definitely an interesting run out there. The attitude that the Brazilian batters were showing was very much that of caution. However, that run out, as well as the final ball of that over being met by a big swing and a miss from Lindsay, definitely show perhaps a change in attitude. The Brazilian batters just looking at that run rate and perhaps saying, we do need to find these runs from somewhere.
Florence coming back in with very good economy. 3 overs, 1 maiden, and with an economy of 1.3. Misfield was direct the fielder, but she couldn't grab it first time. And the Brazilians, they took advantage of the misfield and made a single. Now it's Lindsay Mariano who's on strike. And she edges it between Galia and point, and it goes down there. Goes down the third man, and it goes past the rope. And that's another boundary. Third boundary for Lindsay.
Like that, she ups her score. It's exactly what the Brazil camp will be after. Keeping a experienced batter at the crease. Because if there's one thing that a bowling side love to see, it's two new batters walking out into the middle. So having a batter that can bat deep into their innings is just what they'll want. Having said that, Lindsay has gone. Why have commentators when they'll just curse every game that they talk about? A really good start there from Lindsay, making 21 off just 20 balls. Her 21st ball, though, saw the bells flying. She walks off after a good start. And, as I mentioned, what does a bowling side love? Two new batters at the crease.
Yeah, Lindsay Mariano, she has settled in, started hitting balls. But now the captain comes herself to do what the team hasn't managed to do. She comes in number 5. And she joins Renata. Let's see.
And after the game management that Brazil was showing, clearly allowing their batters time to get themselves in, have a look at what the bowlers were doing. It'll be interesting to see whether they keep with this tactic, although width was offered there from Florence, and it was a really nice controlled shot from the new batter to pick up 2 runs to get her off the mark. But yeah, is there time for these batters to show patience? It doesn't seem like it. It seems they'll need to be on the front foot straight away, trying to make things happen. As Florence continues. It's hit the pads. No real appeals there. A leg bias snuck from Brazil. Good rotation of the strike. It's what they'll want. Not letting the bowlers feel like they've got a real grip hold in the game. Keeping the fielding side and the Botswana captain thinking, what can we do? That's short. It's played with a straight bat through the covers. Mid-off comes round. They think about a second, but sensibly they turn it down and just settle for the single. That's the end of Florence's spell. Very good spell of bowling there. They'll be delighted with her contribution. 4 overs, 1 maiden there. And she picks up a wicket, a vital wicket of Lindsay Mariano. Most importantly, an economy of 3 there, being a highlight of Florence's spell. Contrastly, Shamila not showing quite such beneficial economy, so she has been taking off out of the attack. And in comes a new bowler here, from the pavilion end, to try and make something happen here. In she comes. Oh, and good pace there. Straight to the fielder. Starts off with a dot ball. keeper standing up there to what seems to be a nice pace bowler, so clearly trying to restrict any footwork that the Brazilian batters will want to display, trying to make something happen here. And they sneak a run there as mid-on comes in to clear up there. Interesting to see mid-on just being brought in here into the circle. Us on here as the Yorker is dug out by the captain straight to the... It's been a nice over so far, just the one run from it. And a quick single's taken. That mid-on that had been brought in, still a bit too deep, not really saving the single there. Questions as to maybe her positioning, but a single taken nonetheless here. And as Brazil struggle with this rising required run rate, I think Botswana will be perfectly happy to just see the odd single taken with no real hurtful boundaries being hit by Brazil.
Yeah, as you can see, we are halfway the innings, but Brazil, they are making it hard for them. They are making it hard for themselves to score this score down. Chasing it is becoming harder and harder. And that's in the air between mid-off, and it goes all the way. Good effort by the fielder, but she couldn't stop the ball. Good effort from Florence. Good effort from Florence. And good shot from Renata de Souza. She's trying to use she's creating gaps for herself.
Yeah, it's good to see whilst these Brazilian batters perhaps haven't been showing much innovation or creativity to manipulate the field, they're dispatching these, albeit rare, bad balls from the Botswana bowlers. That full toss being punished for 4 runs. But whilst these bad balls are relatively few and far between, you must say that you got to expect more from these Brazilian batters to really try and create something, whether it's just using the crease, giving themselves a bit of space, opening up that offside that remains unprotected out in the deep with relatively large gaps that you can see. As of yet, though, the Brazil batters remaining quite comfortable.
Indeed, Oliver. For those who are just joining us live, we are coming to you live from Gahanga Cricket Stadium, where Botswana is taking on the Brazilian women's team in the 4th day of Kwibuka Women's T20 Tournament here in Kigali, Rwanda. Proper shot there from the captain. Trying to do it for the team, calling for another run. Good decision to stay, because the Pula ladies are not giving any chances at this moment. Quite a slow start from the Brazilian women, and a few big wickets lost, especially the captain, who seemed to be really on play. But now Brazilian women require 65 runs off 34, and another wicket down. Shamila there, the safest hands on the field right now. That was really timed well. And unfortunately, taking Renata. Good bowling from O'Neill there. And Shamila going under the ball carefully to ensure that they try to restrict Brazil from getting to the finishing line. And as we speak, Brazil have managed to get themselves 50 runs for the loss of 4 wickets in the 12th over. And now they require 64 runs in 52 balls. Monteiro is the new batter in. Oliver, with the current situation and a very slow start from the Brazilian team, what do you think would be the best game plan to bring back Brazil to the game? Because as it stands, 63 or 51 balls is still very possible. What would you advise the captain, or what advice would you send to the Brazilian camp at this moment?
I think whilst we're seeing such a good Botswana bowling display, keeping it very tight, not giving Brazil many bad balls to dispatch, I think Brazil can't just settle for that. They can't accept these good balls as dots. They need to start using their feet more, looking at the field more, really trying to manipulate this game in their favour, because as it stands, if Botswana keep bowling the way they are, then you can definitely see Brazil falling just short. But from a Botswana perspective, I think keeping the bowling display strong as they are puts them in a very good position.
And as we were mentioning in the first inning, Pula girls are showing a very impressive performance with the ball, not giving so many chances, not a lot of misfields, which the Brazilian team were not able to do. And we saw a number of misfields there and giving out chances. And that's why we said in cricket, avoiding all those chances might just get you to the crossing line sooner than I expected.
That low full toss there being driven down to long off just for a single. Another direct hit here, which we've seen plenty of from all these fielders. Very accurate with their throwing. But a good single taken for Brazil. The run rate at 7.8 and over, but if they can keep ticking, maybe a run a ball for now, as they see themselves in, then later on in the innings, they need to make sure they're still in reach of this target.
Good length there from Matome. She continues to impress with her bowling. And I agree with you, Oliver. At this moment, trying to rotate strike as much as possible might get them to that, get them closer to the finishing line. And of course, there is always some mistakes here and there made by the bowlers and the fielders that might just earn them some boundaries here and there. So I agree, at this point it's very important for them to rotate strike. It's a no ball there. It went past the keeper. Even the keeper could not come close to it. A no ball given by Eric, umpire Eric. And the warning there to the bowler. Free hit signal. A signal that every batsman always love to see, because it is a ball, and it is a signal that gives you a lot more confidence to try out all the shots that you've ever dreamt of without feeling at risk.
Here we go, free hit. It's a huge swing, and despite not getting the clean connection that she was after, it's still gone down to deep third man, cut off by the fine leg. It'll just be the two. It's some good running there by Brazil, and good intent being shown that you'd expect from the free hit. But you must say, hitting hard, should she have made connection, it would have more than likely found those fielders deep at mid-on, mid-off. Whereas that leg side boundary remains relatively unprotected there, as she's tried to manipulate. That's great batting. That's really what we like to see here. It's what I've been talking about. The bowling of Botswana, really bowling to the field they've set, means that you can hit some sweet shots over the bowler's head and just pick up singles. But where that square leg is as unprotected as they come, you really want to see some innovation here from the batters to try and pick up some boundaries.
Good intention there from the captain, Captain Roberta. Another one, same spot, identifying the gaps. No square leg, has earned them a nice 3 runs. I should say, I like the intent and the confidence that Roberta shows, and Roberta being Roberta.
मारती जी, फैंटेसी अखाड़ा में विदेश जाने का भी चांस है।
अब सुनो,
हम आपको जाने देंगे।
इतना सिखा दीजिए कि हम फॉरेन कैसे जाएंगे।
फैंटेसी स्पोर्ट्स का
असली अखाड़ा।
इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम के तत्व हैं और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
it's good to see that a few players are still playing ever since the time that we played together. Players like Shamila, very strong, and I usually have a bit of flashback of her strength with a sweep shot. She had the most beautiful sweep shot in the under-19. Good shot, but straight to a fielder. It's high time. They tried to capitalize on the gaps as they were doing before. I think that was working in their favor. Good intent from the Botswanan side. Oliver, basing on the cricket that you've watched on the women's side during this tournament, how would you compare to the English cricket? That was close one, a close one. Pula girls are on fire here. So Oliver, how would you compare this to the county cricket that is played in England?
I think one thing you can say for sure is the spirit of cricket really is universal here. Anywhere you are, it's played with such great spirit. You see such fierce competition out here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium with two sides. You see Botswana, bottom of the table at the moment, but showing some real class here with such a good bowling display. It really does show just how far women's cricket is coming, as a quick single is taken there. A clean pick-up from the fielder may have resulted in a close call for the umpire to make, but as it was a good single taken there from Brazil. But yeah, I think the standards here really are so good to see, developing very quickly here, providing some incredible entertainment for everyone involved.
A lot of cheer, a lot of screams, and trumpets can be heard in the background coming from the Brazilian camp. At this moment in time, they're seeing some hope, as currently they require 49 of 36 balls. Good partnership there, good captaincy there between Roberta and Nicole, building the partnership slowly and getting comfortable in there. Coming on attack from the pavilion end is the Botswanan very own Tebogo Motabatu Puti. Exceptional fielding there. Exceptional fielding there from Tandiwe. It seems like everyone in the Botswanan team is quite switched on, because the game is still on until it actually ends.
This is good from Brazil, though. Rotate. Nicola's made of 9 balls, but I think at this stage, more importantly, she's building that partnership with Roberta, which could prove to be vital as it's pulled away to the leg side. Long on comes in. It's a slight misfield yet again, but a good throw comes in. It's 2 runs for Brazil, and you hear that atmosphere. The carnival spirit really has been brought from Brazil all the way here.
Great fitness there from Nicole. She fell trying to get the second run, but she was back up before we could even notice that she was down. Good fitness.
That looked to be a wide ball there. Down the leg side. It's given us a leg by there. Vital runs for Brazil. I'm sure at this point they don't care how they come. They just need runs. However they come.
I agree. In whatever form, in whatever color, a run right now is a run for them. Which running for it too. Will they make a third one? And no, good call from the captain. We could hear a huge no from the captain. I think the mission is very clear right now. Let's rotate strike as much as we can, get closer to the finishing line, and try to maximize on every ball that comes on.
And it's good to see batters just trying to again manipulate this field as the square leg region has been unprotected for the whole game. Seeing these short balls being dragged down, they know exactly where they want to put them. Picking up some good runs there. It's the end of the over. The atmosphere is really picking up. And all Brazil need now is that run rate to go in the same direction to take them to the finish line.
73 for 4 in 15 overs. The weather looks really good here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium. And the atmosphere, as you said, Oliver, especially from the Brazilian camp, seems to be picking up, especially after this good comeback, courtesy of the captain herself, Roberta, with an assistance from Nicole. Good shot. The fielding here continued to become so exceptional. That is continuing to restrict Brazilian women to only a maximum of a 2-run.
O'Neill coming from the banana plantation end. And on strike, we have none other than Nicole Monteiro. At the moment, they need 40 runs in the last 27 balls. Question is, can they manage? What do you think, Mary?
I would say, with the attitude that we're seeing from both Nicole and Roberta, it is still very possible, as long as they keep rotating and avoiding those dot balls. The dot balls are the ones that would make it harder for them, especially towards the last overs, creating a lot more pressure. And at this point, as much as they keep rotating strike, they still have more wickets to their disposal, which can help them in the last few overs. So at this point, I would say very doable, but they need to keep rotating strike as much as possible and keep trying to manipulate the field to their advantage, as they were doing in the few 3 overs. In the last 3 overs. 74 for 4 in 15.4 overs. Good shot there, picking a gap. Will they come for a second one? Roberta says no, not worth it. We still have more power to go on. I think a loss of a wicket at this point would reduce the speed at which they're moving at, which wouldn't be in the favor.
That's in the air, overshot mid-wicket, and it goes down deep mid-wicket. That's another boundary. That's another boundary from Roberta, the captain. Her first boundary of the innings, actually. And for Botswana, led by Captain Rora, all they need to do is to stop boundaries. Otherwise, Brazil only needs 2 boundaries and over, and they have the game in hand.
That was a well-deserved, a well-needed boundary. You can tell from the Brazilian camp, everything is going ablaze. The seats are also getting too hot. Everybody is upstanding at the Brazilian camp there. That was a boundary that was well needed to ease bits of pressure. Now making it to 35 runs required in only 24 balls.
Good running in between wicket. Good running in between the wicket. Nicole had to make that call as she deemed she could make it there, the other end.
I agree with you, Romeo. It is a huge responsibility to take on, and we are seeing Roberta doing it very well, with a lot of confidence, making it for the team. And a bad call there. That was a close one.
A risk that was unnecessary, really.
Unnecessary risk, I agree. That was really close. Nicole was almost run out because of poor communication there. And a good. The keeper missed that, and you could tell from the disappointment from her face. She missed that one. And really the disappointment in the cap.
I think this is the energy Brazil needed at the onset. It didn't have to, the game didn't have to come all this way, and they start doing that. Whatever they are doing, they should have started it a long time ago.
True, especially that they started in a very slow pace. This and we'll cruise all the way to the boundaries. Captain Roberta again. Captain Roberta is making the boundaries rain here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, the Brazilian camp can't be contained. Very good technique there. All the power to the cow corner and cleared the field in less than 2 seconds.
Some good ball from Tuelo, the opening bowler. She has come back on to see, and yeah, and this is quite a good over for Brazil. 7 runs so far in the over, and the required is 8.8.
.28 runs, 27 runs off 18 balls. That's well calculated. Team Brazil is well known for strategy, headed by Captain Roberta. Was a well calculated last ball of the over, and had to make a quick run to rotate strike to give Roberta strike, as she's now having a total runs of 30 off 23 balls, running at a strike rate of 130. Very impressive. Taking the batters to her own hands and leading from the front. Great leadership, great captain's innings.
I like the fitness If you can see, she has only hit 2 boundaries. So literally, of the 30 runs, 22 runs were singles. That's a bit of running in between wickets. And 27 of the last 18 balls, very doable. And it is hard to determine the winner for the game because they both stand a chance to win this.
And Shamila will be coming from the banana plantation end to try and apply her senior experience into trying and... Will they go for a second one? Oh yes! And right now it's time to sprint. Sprinting is happening here at Gahanga, in between wickets, at the speed of light. The two batters are showing intent for a win today. Wanting to have very hungry to register their second win.
That's some wrist work. That is some wrist work from the captain. And they made 2 singles. Like I said, they are fit and they can do this. They can really do this. That's 4 runs so far in the first 2 balls. So they are cruising as they need. They're only looking for 8.8. So literally singles can win them the game if they only become consistent with what they are doing at the moment.
I agree. Great fitness we see from the Brazilian team. I wonder if all the dancing they do also contributes to that. A good shot there.
Oh, no. This drop is going to
and dropped.
This is going to cost them the game. That was a drop really at the cow corner. And it's by Tebogo. So let's see. This is the captain who's getting the second life. And she seems to be leading by example. And this is a 4. This is a 4. You can see the Brazilians. They are celebrating by throwing their bats on the ground. And
the Brazilian camp can't be contained. Everybody's upstanding. This is getting exciting and exciting every second for Team Brazil. The finishing line is looking bright. It's getting closer. And as you saw there, emotions have started to build up. Nicole had to throw her bat down in celebration. 17 of 14, and Brazil is back in play courtesy of the captain. An inside edge that they would capitalize and go for 2. And Oliver, as we said earlier, a run is a run in whatever form, in whatever color it comes in. Right now, Brazilian says it's about keeping the scoreboard ticking.
Yeah, and I think in these late stages, you're not looking so much at required run rates. You're looking at 17 of 14 balls. And I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty doable to me, especially whilst Roberta and Nicole are flying here for Brazil. I'd say Roberta is on course for a woman of the match winning performance, and it's another boundary here. The Brazilian camp are electric right now, and you cannot blame them. That one's been put down the field for 4 runs, and you really sense a momentum shift here in favour of Brazil.
It is fireworks and fireworks, ladies and gentlemen, here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium, courtesy of Roberta, showing great intention and goes all the way to maximizing every little thing she gets. The Brazilian camp can't be contained, Everybody is upstanding at the moment. It's fireworks right now here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium. And now we are down to 11 runs in 12 balls. And thanks to Roberta, who's now smelling her half century at 46 runs off 29 balls. 4 fours at a strike rate of 158. This is getting exciting every moment. Great leadership from Roberta. And a good anchoring support from Nicole as well, who only has 7 runs off 17 balls, but has helped Roberta to get this far.
And I think for almost the first time in this innings, Botswana are now having to look at protecting more than just the boundary here. Less than a runner ball required in these last 2 overs. And if Noise has anything to go by, I think it's safe to say Brazil are more than favourites in this game here as we commence the 18th over. And it's a wide, and that is the last thing that Botswana want. They need to keep their cool here. They've bowled so well up till now. It's possible to question. Shamila had been very expensive in her first 2 overs. She changed ends, got brought on at the banana plantation end, and went for a lot of runs in that last over that really changed the game here.
A lot of weight on Tandiwe's shoulder to try and restrict these 2 batters who are on fire, Nicole and Roberta, to not having to trying and getting dots at this point. But unfortunately, we are down to 10 runs off 11 balls. And a shot there. Cow corner and do clear the boundary. It is the longest boundary here at Gahanga Cricket Stadium. But who knows what Nicole is thinking at this moment.
The first 2 balls of that over, it seemed like Nicole just wanted to get off strike. Playing with a straight bat, looking for that quick single to give the strike to Roberta. But in that 3rd ball, she said, no, I want to do it myself. And she's gone big again. The 2 fielders come round, they cut it off. But they'll come back for 2 here, Brazil. And this is turning into a real shift in momentum.
It's a thriller at Gahanga Cricket Stadium. A thriller worth watching. And if you're just joining us, we're coming to you live from Gahanga Cricket Stadium, where Brazil is taking on Botswana. It is the 2nd inning. And as you can see, the atmosphere, it is hot. And another goes into the safe hands of Shadrach to dismiss Nicole. Great intentions there. Great performance from Nicole. Great performance there. As you can see her running off. Well played there. And Laura da Silva is in. As you can see from the Brazilian dugout, songs and dances continue to prevail. Great comeback. Now we are down to 4 runs off 9 balls. All the odds seems to be bending on and smiling to the Brazilian teams.
The ball is airborne again. They come back for 2. All could have been close with a slightly better throw, although it was coming in from the deep, so it was good fielding in general. But at this point, it's interesting. Botswana are playing the fielder set very deep here with 4 runs required in 8 balls. I think Brazil will be more than happy to pick these gaping holes in the infield, hitting it to the boundaries, coming back for two, as they've been doing. As it beats the field again, it looks like it's running away for four. This could be it. And it reaches the boundary. And all the Brazilian camp are sprinting onto the pitch now. What a performance.
A second win registered by the Brazilian team. As you can see, happiness and the Brazilian flag flying so high right to the pitch to embrace their very own captain, who has shown nothing but captaincy on the field, as she has always been off the field. Great and exceptional performance from Roberta, who has backed herself. 52 runs off 31 balls, smashing 5 fours at a strike rate of 167. Exceptional performance indeed. Good cricket display today.
Yeah, definitely a player of the match performance there from Roberta Avery, although you've got to say that there are a number of Brazilian players that played their part in that game. Nicole there, albeit not providing so many runs, providing that stable partnership that allowed Roberta to bat the way she did. And after what looked like a slow start, in hindsight you could say tactical genius from the Brazilian team, who have clinched victory with an over to go, an over to spare, thanks to a captain's performance there from Roberta Avery. And you can see they're dancing, they're singing, they're ecstatic here, and you can
Brazilians
see why.
waving the flag high. What a show, Oliver. This was a great cricket performed here. They're raising the flag high. The flag is flying higher here in Kigali. And their coaching team, walking to meet them in excitement as they walk off gloriously and proud of their performance today. What we've continued to witness with the Brazilian team is a lot more of using strategy in whatever they're doing. As we said at the beginning, it was interesting to see them opt to bowl today after batting yesterday and winning against Germany. And that strategy continues to give them results. The Brazilian camp is on fire, doing what they do best as well. Dance and sing. Well deserved. What a performance. Oliver, this was an incredible game, I should say.
I think there's definite need to mention the Botswana team as well. Still, they remain without a win in this tournament, but they fought hard. They fought so hard today to get a total that for a long time in this game looked to be a winning score, or at least a defendable score. But in the end, that Brazilian team, the strategy as you mentioned, meant that Botswana still remain at the bottom of the leaderboard, but I think they can certainly be proud of the performance they put in. They battled right up to the end, but it wasn't enough.